Welcome back to Divorce Workshop Talks. Today we have a very special guest, Daryl Shenner. He's going to talk about also our new Just Separated workbook is coming out in October. Anyways, hi Daryl.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I love your app, I love your program, and I think for certain type of people, this is going to be really something that they actually need. So first of all, give us a little bit of introduction about yourself before we get into the why you started this program app.
Sure. So I had,
I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
There, my apologies.
That's
I had
okay.
an incoming call. We'll figure. I don't know much that you caught, but I had started a software company in 1996, and I'd operated that for many years, and I ultimately sold it in 2019. And
It's okay. Everyone just be patient. It's just the his internet connections is struggling. Anyways, our I was saying before is our divorce workshop Just Separated workbook is coming out in October 22nd. Hopefully get Daryl back on. Give it a few more seconds. If anyone has any questions for Daryl, we can put it in the comment section too. And we'll just wait a bit. This is live. Oh, there. Okay. Hey, Daryl, I'll get off and we'll read. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Anyways, let's start again. I think the internet, I think we lost you because of the internet.
I've had no calls all day, and then just now I've had two.
Okay. Anyways, so let's start from the beginning. So introduce yourself again and quickly bio, and then we'll get started.
So yeah, I've been in the software business for almost 30 years. I had a software company operating both in Canada, United States, and Australia. Mostly on the home building, large home builders is who I typically had worked with. And I had sold that company in 2019, and I was in the midst of going through a divorce at the same time, and yeah, so a lot of my struggles through that whole experience are kind of what brought us kind of here today, I think. So
yeah, so that's the why question. So most of us that are in this divorce field, it's generally some type of why, right? Because why are we doing this, right? And so for you explained to me yours was a very difficult divorce. So I'm assuming that that's kind of where you decide to because of your expertise, to make a program to help others save money, save time and stress and everything that you had to go through in your own divorce. Is that right?
well, yes and no. So my divorce had been going on for almost 6 years, and it was all about money, of course. That's how sometimes it goes. But and because of the complexity, and I initially didn't start off with this in mind, it just kind of came out as a result of it, because it was just such extensive legal proceedings that involved multiple countries and very complex divorce. And it was super high conflict on my ex's part. But where it really came to where the idea came from was I was constantly being asked by my attorneys to give them details of the information that they needed to effectively represent me, right? And it was an overwhelming, for anybody who's gone through it, it's daunting, where they want to know everything, and you don't even know where to start half the time. And in my case, it was involving several different courts in different jurisdictions in different countries even, and it was just kind of got really weird. And I had to educate my attorneys multiple times on the facts of the case. And in one instance, I had an attorney who left the firm that he was at, and then he went to a different firm and was going to practice a different type of law completely. I had to bring up a new attorney up to speed, and it seemed like I was constantly regurgitating the same information over and over and over again. And I thought there's got to be a better way, because I initially, as you know, you go through and you gather emails and you make notes and you type up what you feel is the facts from your perspective and all that stuff, and then you give it to your attorney and they do their thing and try to make sense of it, and then you get a big bill for their work. And I had to do that so many times. I just thought there's got to be a way. So the idea for creating an app to help gather your thoughts and collective and actually organize your life for you somewhat, so that when you have something you want to share with your attorney, you can share the link to the case for them so they can get what they need, but all the information is still under you control it. It's all your information. Whoever you decide to share it with, you're free to, but you're not having to go back through emails or text messages and all this other stuff and try to recall what you did 6 months ago, let alone 5 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to keep track of everything when you're going through a lengthy divorce. I know I'm the same way, and it's also exhausting to regurgitate everything, and very costly, right? So put it all together. That's why this app is so great for people to use, right? Because it helps. I think one of the big things is, especially when you're going through more of a high conflict, is you want to document everything, right? You hear that all the time: document, document, document. But this is a place that you can hold this documentation and not have to worry about where this is, where that is, where this is, or so that's pretty good, right?
Well, exactly. And as you know, for anybody who's gone through the high conflict style divorces, where you're dealing with someone whose version of reality differs from your own, and it's really easy to get caught up on the emotional side of that. And of course, that doesn't go well in a court setting at all. So you're best having, let the facts speak for themselves, as opposed to just dealing with from emotional reaction kind of thing. And this creates an opportunity for you to gather your thoughts, document, and you can reread it as many times as you want and tweak it as you need to, and then let the facts speak for themselves. And that really helped me in my case. And I was able to utilize that. And I've incorporated some stuff in there that I found useful for myself that I know everybody else would benefit from too. When it comes to just pouring over the reams of documents that you get submitted with from the opposing side, you have to go through and respond to all of their stuff and try to do it factually, right? And if there's a mountain of information that they give you, good luck going through that and making sense of it all, because your attorney won't be able to. They rely on you to read it and tell them what's false and what's true and whatnot. And I was able to use it to search through it. I found several inconsistencies in the testimony that I was able to highlight, bring it to my attorney's attention, and say, hey, they said this over here, now they're saying that. Which one? Can't be both. And we use that to really go a long ways to undermine the credibility. And really the tool was, the software allowed us to do that. To do it any other way would have been really difficult. You're relying on your memory to say, oh, I recall reading that somewhere, I don't know where, but try to find it. You can't. But with a system like this, you can in seconds. It'll tell you the document, the page number, and the paragraph. That's it.
Yeah, that's really brilliant, because it's so hard to remember everything. We just don't have that capacity, right? And
it's emotional time to begin with on top of that, and then trying to go and rely on your own memory. It's not fun.
I also think another neat thing is that you mentioned before is that it can connect with the lawyer.
That's right.
Right. And I think that, I don't know if any other type of divorce type of apps have that, but I think your app is really neat this way, where if it's something pressing and you need to get this to the lawyer, such as maybe a custody issue that, that's really concerning, or a financial abuse, whatever. I mean, we can go on, but that would be something that you could say that get to the lawyer right away, correct?
Exactly. And you can share, as you document your case, you can categorize it accordingly to the topic of whatever it's under. If it's under, say, financial disclosure matters or custody issues, visitation problems that maybe are taking place if you have kids. Be able to document and categorize each event as they occur and as you recall them. And it not only places it on a visual timeline so you can kind of track it, but it also allows you to choose how much of that case or which portions of that do you want to share with your attorney. So you may have maybe you're documenting your own conversations with your attorney and you don't want to share that necessarily. So you can be selective as to what portions of your details that you wish to share, and they have access to that whenever they need, and they can also correspond with you and make comments and notes, almost like a chat message. So it's kind of nice that way.
I'm assuming that a lot of this, like, because you're writing everything down or whatever, that you could probably, especially with some of these high conflict individuals, you could probably look for patterns, right? Like you can kind of go back and you could look in all your notes and all their notes, or, you know what I mean? Like look for those predictable bad behaviors that we see with kind of those high challenging people. So that would be another reason, a good tool to use it for, to have this all documented about.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was really looking for, because I knew it was happening, but how do you prove it? And that's where something like this really was invaluable for me, and I felt that, and it was really my attorney's idea that kind of prompted me, because I initially built it for myself and had no plans on doing this on a bigger scale. And then he's like, you're kind of onto something, or you should have this, and this. And then he really opened up my eyes to a whole new realm. And I've already I know how to build an international software company. So it was pretty logical.
Yeah. It's pretty kind of connected together, right? So the program, if you want to tell everyone, like, how is it easy to work? Is it, I know it's on your phone, so that's great. So you can be out, and you can, if you're away or whatever, you still have all that there. But do you want to just give them a simple idea of the program you develop? Like, how does it work? Is it easy?
So there's two parts to it. It's basically an application that runs in a cloud-based platform. So there's a mobile app on your phone or tablet, and a browser, web browser app that's got the more functionality in there. So when you want to do all the interaction and save your details to Microsoft Word and create basically a case profile that you can share, or even do the visual timeline viewing, that's really on the web application, but it's all fed by the details that you're capturing either there or on your mobile phone. So if something happens and you want to record your thoughts right in the moment, just use the mobile app. You can even use voice notes, and it'll transcribe the audio into text. That you can copy and paste your text later on into wherever you want to put it, but it's useful that way. And you can also, of course, record, if you record events as they occur, or take a photo, or you get received a text message, you can record all that and save up the details into your case files, so that they're all there for you to go back to. You're not having to go through and scroll through pictures, and text messages are all organized for you, and you don't have to worry about relying on your own memory.
Yeah. The thing I like about it too is like for Divorce Workshop, we're all like being prepared. And this app just makes you so much better prepared, right? Like, we know we've been through it. It's one of the things that, we try to say to people, you have to be prepared, and, they don't understand what's coming ahead of them really, but this is why your app would be great, because it's like, as you just said, this, like, text. I mean, it's exhausting, right? So doing it right away into your app would be like just vital.
It is. And for myself, even when I first started out in business, I didn't have anybody mentoring me. So you make a lot of mistakes along the way. And then you realize, of course, hindsight's 2020, right? So, this I felt would be super helpful for anybody who's not gone through it. Just learn from what other people's experiences are and be able to take the good out of it and use it, so you can turn what's really a quite awful situation and hopefully turn it around into something that's going to be, valuable to you.
Yeah. So is there a typical, like the typical person that you're seeing that's signing up, are they generally more, challenging divorces, or is it everybody?
Well, that's the thing. As the app provider, we don't have visibility into any people's information. That's private.
Okay.
We don't have visibility into that. I just know from people who have asked questions on the app, they describe their situation, and a lot of times it is somewhat high conflict, it seems, where they're just at odds with one another and just can't seem to come to an agreement, and it's getting to the point where they maybe have to get the court involved to take action.
Yeah, what I was. I don't like to assume, but that was my assumption. That would be more of that moderate high, that a bit more like, prolonged. But I do think it would actually be a good app.
There are some self-represented individuals too. Like some people just
Oh.
don't have the means to afford an attorney, but they
Mm-hmm.
still need to be able to represent themselves. And this is very helpful for them to just organize and at least present something. It doesn't provide, it's not meant to provide legal
Right.
advice or anything like that, but just as a tool to help you organize your information so that when you do have to give it to somebody, it makes sense to them. So anybody coming in fresh and new who's not familiar with the case could get up to speed fairly quickly without having to rely on somebody to verbalize that story for them. It does a good job of somebody who's coming in with fresh eyes could actually get up to speed pretty darn quick on what the facts of the matter is.
That's a good point, Daryl. Thanks for bringing that up, because I just assumed it was for moderate high conflict, but you're right. There's a lot of people that want to do it on their own. It's expensive to divorce. And so having that tool just to help keep them organized as well, because would be very important for them as well. I didn't even think about that. So that's good to know.
Well, and I found regardless of who the situation, even if you do have an attorney representing you, the attorneys can only work with the information you supply them.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's your job to give them information that's useful, valuable to them, and they can't do it for you. So you're doing it no matter what, whether you have an attorney or not. You're still going through that same exercise. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you: is this program? Is it just North America, or is it all over the world? Like, can it be all over the world?
Really, and it's in multiple languages for people who obviously English isn't their first language. So Spanish, French, English, German. Those are the different languages that we support right now.
Oh, that's great.
And because it's not meant to be something that's giving legal advice, it's not meant to replace an attorney. It's another tool to help people be successful in whatever it is that they're pursuing. It kind of spans the globe. Anybody who's going through any type of legal dispute documents their facts as they know it. So it's nice that way. So it's kind of doesn't really matter what state or province or country you happen to be in. You still have to gather your details. So.
Is it just for family court, or can it be for all different type of court cases?
Yeah, actually, in my case, I was using it in a civil matter. The divorce was the minor part, but because it involved the sale of the company and a lot of corporate type details, it became a civil matter as well. So it really could be used in anything. In fact, my attorney has a personal injury colleague that was inquiring on it as well, because they have clients that need to document their cases. They know it for documenting their medical records and their photos of the accident and all this other stuff. So really anything that requires document gathering, it's applicable for that. I even got an immigration lawyer looking at it for helping their people gather their details and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, I was thinking, so it's a wide net. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. So this sounds great. What's the fee, if you want, like the initial fee or the membership, or?
It's a subscription based, but you can sign up for a week-long free trial, no cost. You just have to subscribe, but you don't have to give your credit card details or none of that stuff. And if you do decide to continue using it, then there is a subscription fee. It's $50 a month, or you can pay $500 for a year. Get a bit of a break that way. When you consider the cost of what your attorney's charging you to gather everything that you're gathering anyway, if you give it to them in a way that's just disorganized, they're going to charge you a lot of money just to organize it. They're not even reading it yet. They're just trying to get it to a point where they can have a discussion with you about it, where that in itself is a huge savings. So it kind of pays for itself in no time.
Yeah, I remember I had seen my lawyer at the beginning, and then I took a break. We didn't see each other and when I went and go talk to him again, I had to catch him up to and I'm like, this just cost 2 hours of time, right?
Yeah,
So
you
your $500 is nothing compared to the cost of trying to explain to your lawyer again everything that you've already explained at the beginning, right? So your point is quite true.
Yeah, because you're not their only client. They got to keep it organized for themselves. Like, they don't want two client stories getting intermingled with one another, so they're constantly coming back to get confirmation that they understand it correctly.
Anyways, do we have any questions? If you want for Daryl, you can put them in the comment section. But so your webpage, if you want to give your webpage any information and how to connect with you and get this app.
Sure. So the website that you can go to is MyCourtCase with there's a hyphen in between my and court and between court and case. So my-court-case.com. The other one was taken, so we couldn't get it.
And it's a pretty common URL, I suspect.
Well,
but do you have anything else you want to add before we close off?
I don't believe so. I think
yeah, it was great.
Points.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great app, and I really liked, first of all, it's worldwide. Second of all, for any type of legal issue that's going to be having lots of documentation. So it's not just for family court. And I also like the fact that what you mentioned today is that even for people that are just starting out and DIY starting, this could be really helpful for them too. So it's really beneficial for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So thank you for coming on, Daryl.
No, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.